Our first guest tonight is a very talented man who joins an army of other very talented people, including Steve Martin and Martin Short. You can see season 4 of Only Murders in the Building on Hulu now. Please welcome Kumail Nanjiani. See you, and I must say thank you. You filled in for me this summer. You guest hosted the show, and you did a great job. You really did a great job.
Thank you. I mean, it really was a dream come true to be able to do this. So,
was it?
Yeah, I wanted it. You know, I wanted to host late night since I was a kid. So come here and to actually get to do it was really wonderful.
You know, a number of members of our staff have asked me if I would ask you if you will do it again next summer.
Yeah, of course.
Also,
yeah. How much do you have left on your contract?
I got plenty of space for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, you take a 7-month summer break, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
My favorite part was what I was most excited about was, you know, when you hold up the thing.
Yeah, the holding up of the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you hold up the thing to show it. I was like, since I was a kid, I would like practice that because I'd see Letterman do it. You know, just
he was the best. No one held it up better.
He was so good. And so just doing that, I was like, oh, I'm getting a little emotional. I really had a great time.
It is funny, those tiny little dumb things, right?
Exactly,
Like
man.
one of the big secrets is I have a little piece of tape that almost matches my desk but doesn't match the desk. And that's where I hold the things up so that the camera is perfectly positioned.
These are all the tricks I learned. And, you know, Paul Scheer was one of the guests, and he had a bunch of pictures to show, and they were like, that's too many, it's your first time hosting, and I was like, no, I want to hold up 10 different pictures. I don't know if I'm going to get another shot at this, you know? It was great.
10 can be exhausting, really.
Well, I think I could do it.
How was the rest of your summer? What were you up to the rest of the summer?
It was great. I also want to say Guillermo really helped me out.
Did he?
He really did.
Why don't you help me out?
I try my best. Yeah. I do help you, Jimmy.
Do you?
Yeah, all the time.
In secret ways that I'm unaware of?
Well, I help you with the monologue. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Write the monologue and everything.
He's very helpful. How did he help you?
Well, you know, I talked to you on the phone, and I was like, give me some tips. And you said, your biggest secret weapon is Guillermo.
That's right.
If things start to go on a lull, go to Guillermo, and he's going to give you gold.
That's
and
right.
so I did.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why don't you give me that tonight?
Oh, no, I save it for Monday better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Save it for Monday. We have Monday Night Football, right?
Yeah.
Monday? Yeah.
My summer was great. I actually got to go to Paris and see the Olympics.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrific. Wow.
Yeah, I love the Olympics. I get into it every year because it feels like the whole world comes together to, like, you know, it feels like celebratory. But we got there, and the first thing they said was, they were like, by the way, the River Seine, where they have some of the events, they're like, we can't do events there because it's got too much human feces in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know that because that's what they told us. They should have made something up. They were like, we tested and it's full of and we actually tested what kind of animal, and it came back human. So and then a couple of days later, they were like, oh, it's fine now, you can go. What changed? Did they wipe the Seine?
No, that definitely seemed suspicious.
Yeah, they put bidets in it.
You didn't do any of your own testing yourself, did you?
No, I stayed away from there. Because then they said it's okay to swim in it, and then people swam in it. One of the Olympians got E. coli from it. And then they were like, all right, you gotta go home. See you in 4 years. So there was still human in it. I don't even know how there was so much human feces in it.
It's a great question.
Well, French food is very heavy, you know? So,
do you think they really can tell whether it's human? Because there are a lot of dogs in Paris. You do see them all over the place.
You've walked around LA. You could tell the difference. The best.
That is true.
There was one time my wife, Emily, and I, this is so gross, sorry, warning. I wasn't going to talk about this. This is not on there. My wife and I were walking, and she stepped in a bunch of human feces. And she said it felt like stepping into a loaf of bread.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Anyway, we saw, I would do
What events did you go to?
We went to diving, which I love, because the commentators are so harsh. They're like, oh, he splashed. He's a disgrace to his nation. It's like, yeah, it's water. He's jumping into it. That's what water does. It splashes. I got very into archery, Jimmy.
Did you really?
Because I think archery is the hardest sport in the Olympics for many reasons. One, there are no archery events in between the Olympics. So they just go back to their job at Costco in between.
That's how they get the rotisserie chickens with the,
Yeah, they send them out.
Yeah.
Go get us some
I think of archery as the easiest one. I don't know.
You do?
Well, I don't think of it as easy. I know they're not easy, but I do know that, like, when I think about is there a sport that I could get into the Olympics, and I know there aren't any, but archery seems like it's definitely in the 10% that I'd try.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm just going to change your mind.
Okay.
So when they're there, did you watch much archery this year?
A little bit.
Okay, so I watched a lot. So what they do is, then they pull that thing back, they put the string into their face.
Right.
So they really do, all of them. I don't know why, when they're at the podium, they all have like a line on their face. It's so strange. And I think they just saw one of them doing it, and they were like, we got to do that. It's the Olympics. We got to take it seriously. But they tell you when they're doing it, they tell you what their heartbeat is. So on the lower right corner, they're tracking their heartbeat. And it's really like, it's like 100 beats a minute, because they're like, I'm in the Olympics right now. I should be good. And it's because the commentator said they have to release the arrow in between the heartbeats, otherwise it's going to be off. So what they're doing when they're there is 100 beats a minute, that's more than once a second, so it's going like, and they have to release it. They're getting the rhythm of their own heart to release it right on. You release on a beat, you lose. Gold medal, disgrace to your nation. World record, your wife left you because you wasted your life playing with bows and arrows.
Yeah.
And then you have that for the rest of your life. People are like, how are your Olympics? So I released on a beat. So the toilet paper is around the corner.
Kumail Nanjiani is here. Show's Only Murders in the Building. We'll be right back.
Ho, 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 here we go. 2 protein eggnogs, yummy. It's my personal recipe, patent pending. Actually, Eva, I'm something of a mogul myself.
That's thick.
Oh, thank you. The secret, more egg than nog. And ground deer hoof.
That is Kumail Nanjiani and Only Murders of the Building. In the building with Selena Gomez, of course, and Eva Longoria, and of course you're working with Steve Martin and Martin Short. Are these guys heroes to you?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's Steve Martin Short. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, I'd met, I'm just going to call him Steve and Marty.
Go ahead, yeah, why not?
So I had met Marty once before, very briefly, and he was very nice, but I was very nervous to work with them because, I grew up watching their movies, so I was like, all right, got to play it cool, don't do anything. Day 2, I'm like, so when you guys were making 3 Amigos.
Right, yeah.
And they're like, they'll talk about it. They'll tell you stories.
I watched it with my kids like 2 weeks ago. And
3 Amigos?
Yeah, 3 Amigos.
So funny.
Yeah, still funny, yeah.
So funny.
Did you feel like the 3rd Amigo?
No, man.
No?
I think that's Selena Gomez.
Oh, yeah,
Third
she
Amigo.
is the 3rd Amigo now, yeah.
But it was fun. Their vibe is so good. I mean, I saw Martin Short call Steve Martin a white-haired I was like, oh, I'm really living the dream right now.
You play a fellow tenant on the show,
Yeah.
the Christmas all the time guy.
Yeah, it's a guy who's really obsessed with Christmas, which is good for me. I love Christmas very, very much. And so for me, it was not hard. Because, you know, I was like 20 when I moved here. I never had Christmas. And then suddenly at 20, you have Christmas for the first time.
Oh.
It's awesome.
You appreciated Christmas.
I still love Christmas.
You do. You go crazy? When do you start setting up the decorations?
I mean, for me, I start early December. We deck the whole house.
Reasonable?
Yeah, reasonable.
Does it stay up? How long?
Yeah, but that's laziness.
That's
It just feels sadder every day.
Yeah, I can't think of a roommate I'd less rather have than the Christmas all the time person, because I like Christmas, but I like it to be contained within December.
Oh, yeah, for
I don't
sure.
like hearing Christmas music the rest of the year.
It feels a little like, especially here, even in December, when you're going around driving and it's like super hot out and it's like beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You're like, it's really not. It kind of sounds like you're spiraling. It's like middle of July listening to Christmas songs. Like, I think this might be my last week on Earth. I want to go out feeling like it's Christmas. But for me, I feel like, you know, I understand. I was the bad roommate. It took me a while to realize, you know, in my 20s, I was living with roommates and stuff. And well, in I guess I have a roommate now. I'm just married to her.
Right, yeah. How many roommates did you have?
The most I had was 3. There were 4 of us, and I was so bad. One time we were moving. This was in Chicago, and I had a show that night. And I just was like, guys, could you like move my stuff for me? I got an open mic I gotta hit up. And then they called me at the show and they're like, hey, none of your stuff is packed up. And I was like, yeah, I thought you guys were gonna do that. So I made them pack up all my stuff for me and move me. And Emily and I, when we first started dating, my friends were having a potluck and everybody had to bring something and they told people what to get. And to me, they were like, and you should bring the napkins. And Emily was like, oh, I'm dating the napkins guy.
Oh, yeah.
She still calls me the napkins guy. Like, if I don't bring my stuff, the party still happens, you know?
But it's messier. You're on a tour, stand-up comedy tour right now.
Yes, I'm back to doing stand-up. I didn't do it for years and years.
Can I ask you this question? It's called Doing This Again, or is it called Doing This Again? Because I think the emphasis is very important. Are you doing this again, or are you doing this again?
Well, doing this again feels like I got defeated and now I'm doing this again.
Right.
So I guess that's the one.
Why now? Why are you? Because I mean, like your career is at its height. I mean, you're.
Oh God, I hope not.
All of this stuff. It doesn't mean you're going to come down from it, but I mean, you're doing so much stuff. Why are you now going around the country doing this?
Well, I felt like my life was too easy, and I needed a challenge. I started doing it in the actors' strike last year because I was getting frustrated not being able to do anything, and I was like, let's see, I haven't done this in about 7 or 8 years. Do I still like this? And I went back up on stage and I sort of fell in love with it again. And, you know, it felt like how it felt when I first started doing stand-up comedy.
Where did you first start doing stand-up comedy?
I went to college, a very small college in Grinnell called Grinnell, Iowa. Grinnell College in Grinnell, Iowa. And my first show was just like at a coffee shop on campus, but it was packed with all my friends. And I was like, I'm gonna do this show. It used to happen once a semester, and I wrote material for a long time for it. And then on the day, I got really nervous and went to a Chinese buffet and ate too many of those yellow almond cookies, you know? They're like an unnatural color.
Yeah.
And so I just got on stage not feeling great. But I, honestly, to this day, best set I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah, I got off stage and I remember thinking, I could do Letterman next week. Took 10 years. But and I remember the first joke I ever did.
What was the first joke?
The first joke I ever did was about how I wanted to be, I was like a, science major. I was like, I want to be so successful that I want to have a unit of measurement named after myself. Like, because all the cool scientists have them, like Joules, Newton, Mr. Kilometer. That's the first laugh. He didn't come to America, though. Second laugh. And then I'd say, I want something cool, like, turn the torpedoes up to 5 Nanjianis. 5 Nanjianis, that's way too much power. Most people can't handle 1 Nanjiani. Smile.
And here you are, 5 Nanjianis later. It's great to have you here. New episodes of Only Murders in the Building, Tuesdays on Hulu, and Doing This Again tour, stand-up tour. Tickets available at Linktree/Kumail Nanjiani. Good luck spelling it. We'll be back with Congressman Eric Swalwell.